Hey guys, today on JD Cars we're going to be doing a Wayland Secure 360 and Escort Max 360 hardwire on this 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland. So for the Waylands, we're going to be needing both a constant and a switched power source, and for the Escort Max 360 we only need a switched power source because it doesn't need to be powered on when the car is off. So we'll be accessing our switched power source in the fuse box here. The fuse we decided on tapping is the front 12 volt cigarette lighter, which is fuse number M6, this 20 amp fuse right here in the front, this one right here. We'll be tapping into that for our Wayland switched power source, and we'll be running our wires through a hole down in the firewall here. We'll be accessing that by removing this glove box trim underneath the glove box here. We need to pry off a couple of plastic grommets with a plastic pry tool. All right, because these grommets are indented, you're gonna wanna pull back the felt liner and pry it out like Christian's doing now, like so. Got one on the right and one on the left there. And then you can pull down the felt liner and remove it. So removing that felt liner will reveal a bunch of wiring here and access through the firewall. As you can see, we've pulled back that rubber grommet on the primary power supply wire, and that will allow us enough room to feed our cable snake through the firewall and then to pull our power cables through into the cab here. So just to clarify, we're planning to use 3 wires. We're gonna have 1 hot wire, 1 ground wire, and 1 switched wire coming into the cabin here, and we'll hook up our 2 components to those wires. So we pulled through 3 different color cables here, 1 for our constant, 1 for our switched, and 1 for our ground. We can come over to the other side here. All right, so you can just barely see the hole in the firewall there where our wires are going through. As I told you earlier, we had to pull back our rubber grommet. We're gonna be resealing this with some silicone once we've finalized all of our wiring here. All right, so we have our wires coming through. Our yellow wire is gonna be our switch source here in the fuse box, and Christian's just gonna use a circular file here to make a little rounded out area for our wire to come in past the weather stripping. So we have the end of this wire stripped back. We're gonna pull back the M6 fuse, which is a 20 amp fuse here. Pull that back, and we're gonna wrap this wire around the blade of the fuse and reinsert it. All right, so switch power source all set. We got our ground as our blue wire here, and a positive constant from our main power supply wire, which is our white wire, and all of those are running through the firewall into the cabin. So we'll now be making connections with butt splice connectors here. We'll be connecting our Wayland's wiring harness and our Escort Max wiring harness to our power wires here using these butt splice connectors. So while I'm working on the butt splice connectors, Christian's working on the remote controller for the Escort Max, and he just found, turn off my camera light so you can see it, a nice little pass through the console. So we're gonna use our cable snake, send it through to the other side, and we'll pull through the remote control wires. All right, so we have our wires fed through the center console here. Everything's getting neater here. We're gonna plug in our Wayland to get it set up, and we're gonna get it positioned up there. We've already got our Escort Max mounted up by the mirror, and once we have those into position, we're gonna connect the wires, run them around the trim, tuck them in all the way around down into here, so all of our excess wire ends up in the footwell here, and we can zip tie it and neaten it up under the glove box there. So we've got the Waylands plugged in here, and we've completed the basic setup, and we just cleaned off the windshield with some Windex and a microfiber. Now we're gonna use the placement guide to place the mount on the windshield. So we're gonna peel off the adhesive backing here. So we have the Waylands mounted up there. Here's a live view of the camera. As you can see, you can circle it around 360 degrees. There's us. Pretty sweet. So at this point, we're just gonna route our wires. We're gonna tuck that in all the way around down here and into the footwell, and we'll zip tie up all of the excess wire there. Our Escort controller is right here. We're probably gonna Velcro it up right against the center console there. Our device wire goes under the dash, up through this panel here, and as you can see, we popped off the A-pillar cover by inserting a pry tool up at the top here and prying off. It's just 3 clips along the A-pillar, and then we fed our wire up the A-pillar inside the headliner And then we were able to feed it through the mirror housing and down out to the passport. So as you can see, very clean wiring setup here. No excess slack showing. Same thing with the Waylands, except we fed the wire down over the dash and over the right side down to our power location. So at this point, we have all the slack down in the footwell. We're gonna zip tie it up, neaten it up, and reinstall that felt liner that we removed at the beginning of the video. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we have our Waylands and our passport completely set up. Christian's been driving with it for a couple days now, and he's really happy with how clean it looks. As you can see from the outside here as well, virtually no wires showing. It came out extremely clean. So as you can see, Waylands just goes right here under the black part of the windshield and down the side of the dash. The passport goes up through that mirror housing, across the headliner, down the A-pillar, and down the side of the dash, as you guys saw. So that worked out really well. I'm personally not driving this car, it's Christian's, so I can't give you my personal opinion on either of those electronics, but Christian has said that the Waylands is working out great. I did see firsthand a couple of the features, such as if the car gets bumped or the car moves at all, you get an instant notification on your phone, which I thought was really cool. And it has tons of other features. I'll have a link to the Waylands and the passport in the description below if you want to check them out. As you can also see here, we changed out the wheels and tires on this bad boy. These Goodyear Duratracs are absolute beasts. We just did a video on the installation of the 2-inch spacers and these wheels and tires, so be sure to check that video out as well. Other than that, thanks for watching. Please leave a like below and subscribe if you've yet to do so. And I'll see you guys next time on JD Cars.